Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first drawing tutorial. Now, as I'm making these videos, I'm going to try to make them using the most basic supplies possible so that no matter what you have or don't have at home, you can follow along with the drawing. So, at the bare minimum, if you could just have plain paper, like copy paper for a printer, a pencil, and an eraser. If you have a black marker or Sharpie, that's great for tracing on top of your lines to make them nice and dark and black like this. That just helps you be able to stay in the lines when you color and be able to see all your lines. At the end, you can color your drawings in whatever materials you have. So for today, I'm just going to use crayons. If you have colored pencils or markers, that will work. If you want to paint your artwork, if you have paint, that's fine too. Just be careful if you're painting, copy paper is not meant for paint. It's going to be very thin and it might get too wet and rip. So just be cautious of that if you are planning to paint. Okay, so today I'm going to start with a very easy drawing. This is just a cute cartoon owl. Okay, this is just going to be something quick and easy for us to get used to watching a drawing tutorial online and understanding how I teach and the words I use. So, some of my kiddos have already done this in school, so they might not want to choose this video. That's totally up to you. So, I'm going to set this aside. So, here's my blank paper. This is just copy paper. Now, I want you all to be using a pencil, okay? That way, if you make a mistake, you can erase it. But keep in mind, if you push down really, really hard, that line will probably not erase. So this is what I always say in class. Draw light until you know you got it right. That way, if you draw a line and you make a mistake, that line is light enough where I can erase it. If I push down super hard, that line probably would not erase. So, I'm going to set my crayons aside. I don't need those yet. If you have a good eraser handy, that would be good. Alright, now, our owl is going to fill the page. He is the focal point. There's not a whole lot of extra stuff around there. Now, we want to draw him big, first of all, to fill your page and to also make it easier to color. When you draw something that's very tiny, it's harder to color. So, I'm going to start with the outline of his body. Alright, and to do that, I'm going to draw a shape that's basically a giant letter U. Now, if you remember the drawing, the first thing I showed you, he had his little feet sitting on a branch down here. So I'm just going to draw just a little line here just as a marker so that I know I have room for that branch down there. Okay, now his ears almost touch the top of the page, so I know I'm going to go from the top on one side all the way around to the top on the other side. So I'm going to draw pretty light. Hopefully you can see it. If not, I will go over it, but I want to draw light enough where I can erase my own drawings if I make a mistake. So I'm going to go from this side of the paper at the top. He's going to be kind of fat. Go to the edge, down and around, and back up to that side of my paper. I think this line was a little bit crooked, so I'm just going to fix that. I want to try to make him symmetrical so he's not a lopsided owl. Okay, there we go. Alright, now I'm going to draw just two short lines down for his ears. And I'm going to connect this across the top for the top of his head. Right now it looks like a face, but we're going to turn him into a... That's going to be his whole body. Okay, now, about halfway down, almost in the middle, we're going to add his nose, which is his beak. Okay, he's a bird. Owls are birds, so he has a beak. So I'm going to do his beak by making an upside down triangle. So, there's a couple ways to do this. Make sure it's in the center. I'm going to start with the letter V and connect it across the top. Okay, Now on each side, we're going to draw his big eyes. Owls have very big eyes. So first of all, to make this realistic, I'm going to draw 3 circles for his eyes. Big, medium, and small. So try to make those symmetrical. I'll start on the right side. His eye will be very close to his nose. So I'm going to start with my big circle. Big, medium, small. Same thing on the other side. Big, medium, small. Now the small circle is going to stay white. That's the reflection in his eye. The medium circle, that we will color in black. That's his pupil. And then the last circle, the big circle, that can be his eye color, whatever you choose. So we can come back to that later. All right, now we're going to draw something around his face. It's going to kind of look like a mask. But before I do that, I'm going to find the center right where his nose is and go up right between his eyes, kind of level with his eyes. I'll put a little dot there. That's where I'm going to start his mask. And I'll show you before I draw, I'm going to show you where it's going to go. It's going to go over his eye, up to his ear, around his eye, and connect to his beak. So I'll do one line on one side, and then the next line on the other side. And try to make them even, symmetrical. Try to make it the same on both sides. So I'm going to go up over his eye to his ear, and around to his nose. Same thing on this side. Around his eye, up to his ear, and down around to his nose. I think my line on this side's a little bit bigger, but I'll try to even that out just a little bit for you guys. Okay, so it's kind of like a mask. Now, in the space, oh, this side's a little uneven too. Try and make this even. There we go. See, it's okay if you make a mistake. That's why we want to draw light so that we can fix it. All right, now in this little space here, I'm going to give just a little bit of line on his forehead, kind of like a crown. Okay, now let's go down to his wings and his body. So on each side, I'm going to draw a line to give him his wings. The middle is going to be his feathers. So from this side, I'm going to go around and down to give him a wing. On this side, I'm going to go around and down to give him a wing. I'm going to connect a line across the middle to show his chest feathers. To give some texture for his feathers, I'm just going to do kind of curly lines across. Now, just to add some more texture and more places for you to add color, I'm going to add just a couple lines of detail for his wings. Now, I'm going to erase this line down here that I used as a marker so I wouldn't run into the bottom of the page. And I'm going to give him his little feet. His little feet are pretty much just claws he's gripping onto the branch with. So I'm going to do, and I will have his claws touch, so I'm going to do 6 little ovals, his 3 claws on each foot touching together, okay? So I'm going to do 3 on this side, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 right next to that, 1, 2, 3. And those are his little claws, okay? If you want to add just a little triangle at the bottom so you can see his little nails, that's fine. Now, we cannot see through his claws, so on each side, I'm going to draw that horizontal line to show the branch that he's sitting on. Okay, now this is where we can set our pencil aside and use a Sharpie to trace over our lines. This will just help our lines become darker and bolder and thicker, and we can see them a little better. So again, just like with a pencil, with a Sharpie, you do not need to push down super hard. When you do that, it makes the Sharpie dry out even quicker, and the end of the marker should be pointy. And if you push down really hard, that point is going to go away and it will be flat. So gently, not pushing down too hard, taking your time to stay on your line, you can trace right on top of your pencil line. And here is also a good spot to get rid of those lines that you made a mistake. I made a mistake on this side and this side when my lines weren't symmetrical. So this just helps get rid of those mistakes because these lines will be bolder and stand out. So take your time, but move the Sharpie quickly. If you leave the marker in one spot, it will soak up into the paper and bleed, which you don't want. So take your time, but don't keep your marker in one spot for too long because it will soak through your paper. Big, medium, small, big, medium, small. Wing, wing. His tummy. These are our texture lines for his feathers. His 3 toes on each side. Horizontal line all the way across for the branch. Make sure this lines up so the branch looks realistic. Okay. Now you can tell that helps really make your lines stand out by making them darker and bolder. So, as you can notice, a couple of my pencil lines are still showing. So, what I like to have my kiddos do is just gently with an eraser, now that the Sharpie's on there and dry, you can go over your whole drawing and erase wherever you see pencil showing through, just to make it a little bit neater and cleaner before you add your color. This is where a big eraser like this comes in handy. Just going to pick this up so I can shake it off. Alright, now, when you go to color your owl, you have a couple choices. So if you want to make this look like an owl that actually exists in nature, you would want to choose realistic colors, meaning colors that are actually on an owl in real life. But you could also make it abstract, meaning you can choose colors that aren't real for an owl. Maybe you want his feathers to be rainbow, or maybe you want him to be pink and purple. Now that choice is up to you. So I'm going to let you choose your colors, but I do want to show you the one thing about his eyes to make those realistic, because we had those 3 circles for a reason, right? So our littlest circle is going to stay white. That's his reflection. The medium circle, we're going to color that black because that's his pupil. Everybody's pupils are black, whether you're an animal or a human. So this is what I call craftsmanship. And if you are one of my kiddos, they hear this word probably at least 4 times a class. Craftsmanship is using your very, very best art skills. Staying in the lines, not scribbling, coloring nice and solid so that there is no white of the paper peeking through, except for where we want it. Okay? So, this is great craftsmanship. This is not. Okay? So, taking your time when you're using crayons, color back and forth in the same direction. Color in all the white space so it's nice and solid, and staying in your lines. Okay? Now, the next circle, the big circle, that can be whatever color you want your owl's eyes to be, whether it's realistic or abstract. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going to pick maybe orange, maybe a yellow orange, red orange, goldenrod, that might be kind of cool. I'm not sure what that looks like. So here's another little tip. If you're not sure what a color is going to look like, we can't erase crayon, okay? So if you're ever unsure, you can use the back of your paper to test the color. Yeah, goldenrod looks very yellow. I'm going to stick with orange. Okay, so again, you can choose the eye color, but just remember white reflection, black pupil, and then the big circle can be his eye color, whatever color you'd like. Now, I'm not going to color the whole thing because I want you guys to use your own ideas and not copy what I do, because the choice for color is really up to you. I just wanted to take one little second to show you why we did the 3 circles for his eyes and to talk about craftsmanship. Alright, so think about your colors before you choose them, because like I said, we can't erase the crayon. You could even do a pattern. There's a couple spots in here where you could do a pattern, back and forth, A, B, A, B. You can make a color scheme. Maybe you only want bright colors. Maybe you only want warm colors or only cool colors. Or maybe you want to make a rainbow. That is all up to you. So, I hope you enjoyed our first drawing tutorial. I hope your cute little owl turned out well, and I'd love to see pictures after you color. So go ahead and comment, or my kiddos, you can post online where your assignments are. Again, if you are a Luke student, this is not a required assignment for this week. This is just something optional and extra if you want to do some more art at home. Alright guys, I hope you are happy and healthy and staying safe at home. Have a great day.